So welcome back to another Reddit reaction, guys, the series where I go on Reddit so that you don't have to. And we are, of course, back on r/XDefiant today. And I'm going to do it a little bit differently than normal because usually I do the top post of the month. But today I'm actually going to go the top post of the week simply because we obviously just got update 0.4. And it did spark a little bit of controversy within the community to do with the weapon progression changes. So we're going to filter it to just this week just so that we get some more stuff focused on that, because I think a large majority of what's going to be on the Reddit this week, as is usually the case with Reddit, is a bit of the negativity surrounding that. So without wasting any time, let's jump right into it. Now, the first one is actually nothing to do with that. This dude had a 0.06 KD and everyone gives him the thumbs up. You gotta love that. I feel like whenever someone has either a really low KD or it has the ones where it's like they tried or whatever, they always get all the commendations. So gotta love that. That is by far the lowest KD that I've seen. Poor lad's probably just playing his very first game or something. For people complaining that they can't find easy enemies, XDefiant Dev agrees that with no SBMM, if you are not finding easy enemies in Ubisoft's shooter, it's because you are the easy enemy. That is 100% correct. I think a lot of people came from probably Call of Duty, but even other games as well, hearing that there's no skill-based matchmaking, and they probably thought they were a lot better at shooters than they actually are. And it turns out that is the issue that I've been complaining about for years now with skill-based matchmaking. It makes a lot of people think that they are better than they actually are. And then we get into a game like this where there's no skill-based matchmaking, and unfortunately people find out pretty damn quick that that is actually not the case. So that is the downside to playing a game without skill-based matchmaking. If you find this game really hard and you are getting shat on, the unfortunate reality to that is that it's not to do with skill-based matchmaking. It is mostly to do with the fact that you maybe aren't as good as the rest of the players. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. That's where I started. When I started playing Call of Duty, I was an absolute NPC. I would often go like 5 and 20 in a lot of games that I played, but I stuck with it, and then eventually you do get better. So I did find this pretty funny though, seeing a lot of chatter around the community when he first said that quote, because a lot of people were a little bit salty about it, which I guess kind of proves the point. Now, speaking of NPCs, we have got TDM incoming this week, which I'm pretty sure by the time this video is live will be here. I can't necessarily confirm that because it'll be like on the same day at some point. So finally, for a lot of people, TDM is on the way now. I personally, I'm not the biggest fan of TDM. I find it a little bit boring just because there's no objective. I like to have something outside of just getting kills to do. Hell, even if I'm literally just going for kills, it still just feels more enjoyable if there's actually an objective. So it's not the biggest, want from me, but I understand a lot of people have been wanting it, and so it is good to see that it is finally coming. Now, the reason I said that it's linked with NPCs is because, generally speaking, at least in Call of Duty, I'm not going to say that for this game because we haven't played it yet, but in COD, I remember that is where all of the bots used to go congregate back in the older Call of Duties when there was no skill-based matchmaking. And although I didn't like playing TDM, I would always jump into TDM when I was having a rough session, because all the bots, for some reason, I don't know why, but all the bots congregate in TDM, and it is very, very easy to farm kills. So it's probably going to be the same thing in this game, that if you guys are having a rough session, you're playing, the objective modes, and you just can't have a good game because there's no skill-based matchmaking, it might be worth jumping into TDM, because I can guarantee, once again, that that is where the bots will be congregating. I don't know why it is like that. I think it's maybe just because it's the most casual mode out of them all that the most casual players go there. I'm not too sure, but I'm definitely keen to see how that plays, because that might be the game mode that I can farm kills for YouTube content and get the easy gameplay for the background of my videos. Now, I've got a post here going over Mark Rubens' tweets about the weapon leveling. I'm surprised it actually took this long to get to something talking about this topic. I'm going to read through this for you guys, and then I want to read the comments because I feel like there potentially will be a lot of people complaining. I'm not too sure. He says, attachments for weapons affect gameplay, and people were unlocking attachments slower than we estimated. The faster leveling is in response to that. Weapon mastery, on the other hand, does not affect gameplay and is supposed to be something special that shows off your dedication to a weapon, and so the rebalance of levels was in response to that. Now, if you've ever read any of my posts, if you've heard me speak, I try to be as honest, open, and transparent as possible with everyone, and I know this change may upset some people, and we are always always willing to say we didn't do the right thing and we need to correct. We will own our decisions and will continue to evaluate. That being said, I'd love it if you guys gave this change a fair chance. We want to hear from you, whether it's positive or negative. Also, this whole system is being redone to be more engaging for everyone. It will be a couple of seasons before we see this, but we will be looking at feedback to improve our future implementation. Now, if we go look at the comments, I'm very interested to see what people actually say about this. So the top comment is actually someone breaking down the XP. So they said the numbers for those are curious. Unlocking all attachments went from 175,000 XP to 150,000 for a 14.3% decrease. Unlocking all camos went from 350,000 to 600,000 for a 71.4% increase. So that is actually a lot more drastic than I thought. And although I'm a little bit torn about it, I understand why people are a little bit mad. I also see the dev side of it, that they want people to have stuff to grind for. If we just unlock gold for every gun really quick, then what are we playing for? What's the point in actually playing? If I had right now every weapon maxed out and gold, then in 6 months, outside of obviously I'd come back and play the new content, but like what is gonna keep me hooked? There's nothing to actually grind for. I guess ranked. Man, this fucking updated Reddit is absolutely atrocious. It just crashes literally all the time. But anyway, getting back to it, I understand their need to have something for us to grind for. And so I do see both sides of it. And personally, I'm probably not going to get every gun gold anyway, because I just don't have the time to put that many hours into the game. Even on the previous, how it was at the very launch of the game where it was level 100 to get gold, I probably still wouldn't have gotten every gun gold. I just don't have that amount of time. So it doesn't really bother me too much, but I also do see a lot of people's issues with it. And it's just a very curious thing to watch how the community reacts to this, essentially. Now, someone replied to that saying, seems a bit ridiculous if you ask me. Per game, you level up like 1 level, so you need 200 games to unlock gold. Let's say a game is 10 minutes. I'm pretty sure it's often longer, like 12 to 14 minutes. That's 33 hours of just in-game gameplay. Considering this game has ridiculous loading times and downtime between games, that's surely like 40 hours of playing to get 1 weapon to gold. That, when he puts it like that, that is actually pretty fucking absurd that it could take, somewhere around 40 hours. And everything seems to add up there, because getting 1 level per game does actually make sense. It's about 30 kills per game. That is generally about an average score for a lot of players. And keep in mind, if you're only getting 15 kills per game, that's going to take twice as long. So yeah, that is a long time. It is a very long time to get gold. I think they did go a little bit overboard with the changes. I'm fine with them taking a long time to unlock, but 200 levels is actually, that's actually quite a lot. Now, this comment says, it's never good to fix something by taking something else away, especially when the first thing that you're taking away wasn't broken or the thing that people were complaining about in the first place. That's actually a very good point as well. All anyone was asking for was to reduce the attachment grind. I don't think they were asking to increase the few free gun camos that you can get in-game just by playing. And again, that is actually a really good point. Now, my confusion is, why don't they just actually change the XP required per level rather than every single level being 3,000? How it is in a lot of other games is like the first, say, 10 levels. So if you've got a level 1 MP5, it might take legitimately 2 kills to get it to level 2, 3 kills to get it to level 3, and like the very early levels are very quick. You can often, in Call of Duty, you can get a gun from literally level 0 to level 7 or 8 in a single match, but then it obviously scales up as it goes. I'm confused why they didn't just do that and keep the level to level 100 how it currently is, but just slightly increase the XP required to level up as we go. And it doesn't need to be by heaps, but that would be a way where it doesn't feel, even though it is technically doing the same thing, we'd still need, for example, the same amount of XP as it currently is after the changes, but it wouldn't feel as bad, I guess, because instead of getting to level 200, it's only level 100, even if that still takes the same amount of time. I think that feels like less. I don't know if that's just me, but that's something I've been confused about. Why don't they just change the weapon progression scaling so that it's really easy early on? You can get a weapon to level 30 in like 5 games, get all of your attachments pretty easily, but then as it goes, as you get further into the levels, it just takes longer and longer each level. I don't know why they haven't done that. That is generally how it is in most other shooters. I know definitely Call of Duty's like that. I feel like Battlefield often does it like that too. And it's not even just usually weapons, it's usually your overall level as well. So that's my confusion. I don't know why they didn't just do that. Keep it at level 100, make it so that early on it's only like 500 XP per level. Then say once you're at level 20, it's like 1500, but then once we're getting to like level 80, it's like 5000 XP instead of 3000, how it currently is now. So, and here we go again. Reddit has crashed for the third time during this recording. But yeah, I don't know why they haven't done that. That feels to me like the, I guess, all around best way to do it. And I guess easiest. It's probably not easy for them to do that, having to change all the scaling and stuff, but it's also surely no different than actually changing just the required levels. That seems like the more basic way of doing it, which I just, yeah, it was always going to make it feel a lot harder getting to level 200 rather than 100, even if the XP, like I said, is exactly the same. Someone mentioned here that it will cost, or it will take 600,000 to get gold. If it was 600,000 to get to level 100 or 600,000 to get to level 200, weirdly, I still feel like 600,000 to get to level 100 would feel easier to us. It wouldn't feel like as big of a chore, simply because the goalposts haven't moved. We still need to get to level 100. And yes, it would still take the same amount of time, but I just feel like that would have been a better way of doing it. Plus, yeah, 600,000 is a lot. I think like 450,000 would have been a sweet spot, but that's, yeah, it's been changed now. So we'll see if they do change it at all in the future. I'm not sure they will. Like I said, I do see a lot of people's complaints with it, and I can really understand it, but at the same time, it doesn't bother me too much just because I'm not going to get every gun gold. Anyway, I just don't have the time to play the game that much. Now we're going to end with this one, and this is actually pretty funny. He says, nice job of complaining. Now it's level 200 to get gold. SMH, the weapon XP wasn't even bad. If you already have gold, you will still have it. That is a good point. That, like, it's funny how a lot of us, it was the same for me. We were all sort of complaining that, damn, the weapon grind to get the attachments, it actually takes quite some time. And it's funny that us complaining has actually led to something that we don't want, which it is ironic. If we just had have shut our mouths and just dealt with it, then we wouldn't be in this situation. And like that thing said earlier, it's only about 15% quicker to get all of your attachments now. So it's not even like we got a massive win with the attachments, yet we got a massive L when it comes to the gold mastery grind. So I thought that was pretty funny. It is, in hindsight, funny to look back and go, damn, if we just didn't complain, then none of this would have ever changed. But I guess that's how it goes when it comes to a live service, and specifically first-person shooters. That stuff always tends to happen. It is pretty funny to look back on. But that is going to do it for another Reddit reaction, boys and gals. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. There is plenty more XDefiant content on the way, especially in the lead up to season 1 and beyond. So make sure you don't miss out. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you all out there in the arena.